Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. I'm your host, Srekcuf5, and joining me as always is the magnificent Dorky Dev. Say hi, Dev.
Sup?
You look a little fed up with life. A little done with...
What would give you that impression, my dear friend?
Nothing at all, really. How are you supposed to make a night of this if you're out of vodka?
If I'm out of vodka, well then... You always have a reserve bottle of vodka.
Ah, that's a good point. Good point. Alright, so we're set... Dev's set for the show, I guess. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Critically Casual. Where...
I am actually very done with my day, so...
Yeah. So let's...
I decided for the first time... I don't think I've drank on this podcast. I've drank on every other podcast that we've ever had.
Sounds about right.
Except for this one.
Well, might as well make it a full suite, you know?
Yeah, I might as well finally hit the last one. Also, I don't work tomorrow.
Is that foreshadowing to us gaming later?
Maybe over on twitch.tv/Dorky Dev and twitch.tv/Srekcuf5.
Okay.
Or Srekcuf5.
Whatever I call myself nowadays, I don't even know.
Scruffs. Scruffs Gaming.
It's Scruffs.
I haven't made a screwdriver in a very long time.
How is it? Are you being, put back in your place?
No, that's not that bad.
All right.
It's not what I remember it being. I think mimosas are better.
Yes.
Like now having a screwdriver after having mimosas, like somewhat recent, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, mimosas are better. I see the mimosa game now.
I agree with you. It's the champagne that gets it rather than the vodka.
Yeah. Oh, I just haven't been a huge vodka person lately.
No worries, I don't blame you. Don't have a good transition. Let's start talking about movies. My brain just stopped working there for a second. So this week...
These are movies that'll make you want to drink.
Exactly. There we go. So this week, I called this week Freelance Justice. Because there's a theme.
Or it's Netflix original week, question mark? How many weeks of this have we done?
Netflix original wise? I'm just going to say 5. This is number 5.
Okay. It's either this is probably at least like the 9th and 10th movie by them that we've watched.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Well, we did this whole podcast started because of Netflix originals.
I thought it started because that was a Netflix original. Never mind.
Hello, Cloverfield Paradox. You're
yes.
brought up once again.
Yes. One of these days we'll have a reunion tour where the 3 of us get back together again. So, what?
As long as we don't go back to week 3.
Oh well. Let's start talking about this week. So this week, I call it Freelance Justice. Of course, it's Freelance Justice. Of course, it's a Netflix original week. But we're talking about Spenser Confidential with Mark Wahlberg, and then Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds. I got really nothing else to say other than that before we get started. Do you have any last words?
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen.
Buckle up, we're going for a very bumpy, very jump-cutty ride.
Yeah, I am going to run and grab a Powerade real quick if you want. Or, here, I'll do my intro stuff for the movie, and then I'm going to run and go get a Powerade.
Okay, sure.
So, Spenser Confidential was released on Netflix on March 6, 2020. It was directed by Peter Berg. Had a estimated budget of... doesn't tell me. At least on IMDb. Which is weird. There's a way to check this. Somewhere else. Hold on.
Box
Sorry.
office mojo.
I haven't needed it for so long. I haven't needed box office mojo since Endgame
That's a good point.
when we were tracking stats on that.
There we go.
Spenser Confidential. Oh, there isn't anything. All right, well, there's nothing for me to go off of there.
Nope, it just exists.
Yeah, it just exists, I guess. Pretty good cast, in my opinion. Winston Duke, always fantastic. Every movie we've seen him in on this show, he's been great.
He's
Alan
our
Arnett,
tie-in, by the way.
what?
Winston Duke, our Avengers tie-in of this
Hey,
week.
I didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world, Steven.
I figured that's why you brought him up, and then you kept going. So I was like,
Oh, I know. I was seeing if the bait was set. And then I was gonna let you talk about something, and then I was gonna be like, oh yeah, and he's also.
Oh, fuck you.
And then we got Alan Arkin, who is always hilarious. Marky Mark Wahlberg is in this as well. He's Marky Mark. And some other people. We got like Bokeem Woodbine, who is also our other Marvel tie-in. The Shocker from Spider-Man Homecoming. Or Shocker number 2, technically, because there was 2 Shockers in that movie. Spoilers.
How dare we
And
spoil
also like
Spider-Man.
Post Malone, which
that
was
got my
interesting.
attention.
Can we say surprisingly good actor? I was in, like, the role wasn't like a crazy important like role, but for someone who's an artist who for like music and stuff like that, you don't always expect the best acting. Honestly, I was kind of impressed.
I thought it was kind of funny, honestly. I was like,
Right?
when I first saw him, I was like, 1, that's funny. 2, he's typecast. 3, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, because he was typecast. His role was a white supremacist.
Gangster?
Yeah,
Is the best way to put it?
an alt-right gangster. And honestly, like this
Love
movie.
his eyes.
Oh yeah. Personal opinion before I get the power. This movie, honestly, I think I enjoyed it for the most part. There were some things that definitely needed to be done better, like twists and stuff like that, that were just like you'd have to be an idiot not to see it coming. But on the same hand, I've still found it enjoyable, which is rare for me with Netflix movies as of late. I haven't found them as enjoyable, I guess.
Netflix has been hitting this weird patch. Like, I remember when we first started the show, I hated everything that Netflix had to offer. Somewhere along the middle of the show's period so far, I've started to like what they're doing. And now they're kind of hitting the rut of kind of...
Yeah, but you were also in the huge minority of liking Bright.
That's kind of true. I did kind of like Bright.
But you liked it for the fantasy elements. You did have a lot of complaints about everything else.
Yes. I think fantasy's cool.
To defend you on that, I will.
I don't need to defend myself. I had everything was explained in the podcast that one time. If I ever put it up on.
Yeah, but it's not fucking uploaded. Also, was that? I'm pretty sure that was the week we did the movie that shall not be named. Unless I get really pissed off. So with that being said, though, that's my opening thoughts. I'm gonna go around about a power rate if you want to give your your intro thoughts,
Okay.
I guess.
So, sure, why not? Go for it. Head on out. Go quick, Dev. I'm totally not stalling in any way, shape, or form for him to come back here. So, I don't have to repeat myself again. But when he comes in, I'm going to be saying something completely absurd, so it doesn't matter. But my opening point on this movie is I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. You know, this movie was fine. It pretty much was a...
You know, my headset's pretty good because I can hear you in the other room. Fucking, I'm totally not stalling for time.
Totally not stalling, so I didn't have to repeat myself.
I can pick up the gist, you motherfucker. What do you think I am, like inept or some shit, bitch?
Sometimes.
Ass motherfucker.
But what I was
That's not the right word, but whatever. Fuck it.
what I was getting at basically is I thought it was fine. I thought it was funny because at moments, especially, I thought it was interesting because there were moments where I thought it was quippy and witty, and I was like, wow, this feels kind of like Ryan Reynolds humor in a little bit of a ways. But at moments, I thought that way. But all in all, I thought it was okay. Like, the action was probably the most upsetting part about this movie because there wasn't really any action scene or it was one long action sequence. It was swing cut, swing cut, swing cut, swing cut, swing, jump, 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 jump. Like, it wasn't confusing or hard to follow, but it wasn't flowing either. It was just one scrambled jump cut after jump cut, and so the action, filming, and choreography in that way I didn't really like. I thought the story itself was pretty by the books and easy to understand what was going to happen. Like, if you've seen one, I'll call it cop drama, which that's kind of what this is.
What you can compare this to easily that we saw recently was 21 Bridges.
Very much so. That's a good way to put it. But it's overall, I would have to say the strengths in this movie are definitely the actors and the acting, and the wittiness of the dialogue and the I guess again the actors and their chemistry with each other. I think the things that hold this story back are its predictable story and its kind of lackluster editing with the rapid cuts and the background music. The soundtrack for this movie was definitely that, a soundtrack. Like, someone was listening to the radio one day and decided, let's put this in the movie. This sounds good here. Like, it fits, but it just wasn't quite what I was expecting. No. So, the way I guess I'll explain this overall is it all fits together in a sort of Marky Mark way, which I guess that makes sense to those who like what used to be
Marky Mark.
Yeah. But overall, like, I don't have entirely much to say. Like,
No, yeah, this is kind of just a very middle of the road movie.
middle of the road. I wrote in my notes, by the books, which I think is kind of funny since it's about police officers.
Yeah,
But
we're trying to do it by the books. Well, not exactly by the books, I guess.
not at all. But I like everything that was brought up had a closure brought to it, but it was all pretty obvious things, like the foreshadowing with Black Betty, the story with Hawk and his reasoning for joining in this, I'll call it quest to begin with. At one moment, I noticed a continuity error, which was the guy getting a massage. And where the massage parlor's hands were located were different in each scene. So
I noticed another one. The scene where the girl drives up on the track. Driscoll is in one spot, and then when she gets out, he's teleported to a different spot.
Ah, yes. I could see that. I didn't see it, but I could see it. So
I noticed a couple things like that.
Overall, like, I want to talk more about this movie, but there isn't really much else to talk about with this movie.
Like, there's nothing necessarily distinct about it. I gotta say, honestly, like, Winston Duke is phenomenal in this. My favorite scene with him is in the bed.
Oh, with the dog?
No, with the kid.
Oh, yeah. That was touching and adorable.
Yeah. Winston Duke just has such a good ability to understand how the character needs to act in that scene. Like with that scene.
Like, Winston Duke is just a good actor.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt.
We said that with Us, like how amazing he was in Us, and
we loved him in Black Panther.
I guess he was okay.
Hey, Don't shit on. Don't you do that.
M'Baku.
Baku.
Okay.
The white gorilla. Which I can't wait to see him again in Black Panther 2. Alright? I can't wait.
Sure you can. You have to.
Shut up. Indefinitely. And then, like, that scene, also the scene where he does the fight, and it's probably a callback to the fact that he is M'Baku, but, like, when he's in the cage fight and he slams the ground, I'm like, hey! You're in that Marvel movie, aren't you?
Hey, that's an Easter egg!
But it's like, it's a subtle Easter egg.
No, I
Which
get
is
that.
kind of nice, because I just recently saw a video about talking about, funny enough, about MIB International, and how that movie wasn't subtle about their
How it was
references.
all references.
So, you know, I appreciate when they're subtle to it, and not like this. You liked this character in a different movie. Here, or in their main movie, here's it in a different movie. No, this is a completely different character. It's just that one scene where, because Winston Duke's character Hawk is a fighter, so he's in a cage, fight, you know, doing some warm ups, practice stuff, and let's his, you know, emotion get the better of him. Slams the ground as he gets back up, in very much a like gorilla stance. Is the best way to put it. And it's if you know kind of call out, which is like those are the kind of calls I like, I guess. So, you know,
That was probably just him being like, I trained for that role a lot, and this just kind of feels good here. That's my guess. So, okay. So anything else in this movie that we want to talk about?
What did you think about the twist villain? How early did you know he was the twist villain? I want to ask.
Well, I would say that I didn't necessarily nail down him until the like second conversation that we had with him, the one after the crime scene interview.
Okay.
Like that one where it was just like, okay, that's a little obvious. At that point, like I hadn't really been paying attention much to this movie. I'll be honest. Like,
fair enough.
This movie didn't really draw my attention that much because I thought it was kind of lackluster overall.
No, it is, but
yeah. But once it hit the kind of obvious notes, like, oh hey, bad guy. But then once you think about it and like go back through the moments and what happens in the film, like beat by beat, it makes a lot of sense that the one who's the bad guy is the bad guy.
You want to know how beat for beat this movie is?
It's
because I've seen so many of these kind of movies.
It's what I would call a template.
The first like the opening, where there's the Mark Wahlberg voiceover.
Yeah.
And you have that scene where he's beating up the one guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil who, because if you haven't seen the movie, you may not know. But I immediately called it. I was like, "Oh, that guy's gonna betray him." That's the twist. And from that point on, I'm like, surprise me. Don't make him the villain. Surprise me.
Yeah, surprise me.
Do the unexpected. Yeah. No, this movie did exactly the expected.
It's very much exactly what you expect in this kind of movie. Like, to the T. It dotted the I's and crossed the T's. It is by the books.
It's as by the books as it gets.
Yeah. So, that being said, Dev, I'm going to give you your popcorn kernels. Out of 10, how many do you give the Spenser and his Confidential?
Honestly, I'm going to give it a 6.
6?
Like, it's not a bad film. I wouldn't even give it, like it's a higher middle of the road, if that makes sense. Like, because it's good. It's a good background movie.
I would agree with you on that one, actually.
Because you don't really have to follow everything to understand everything. So, good background movie, which is what I would say a 6 is. 6 is good background, or like just not just our because Steven and I've said it before, we're trying to use the numbers as what they mean. So a 5 is middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's a little bit higher than middle of the road. So, like, I would say I enjoyed it. Well, maybe not enjoyed it, but I would say I'd enjoyed it better than Doctor Dolittle or Dolittle. Maybe didn't enjoy it more than like Fast and Furious or Too Fast, Too Furious, because those are more entertaining in a lot of ways, but they're definitely worse films. Mm-hmm. This one I think it's a good just background noise movie with some good acting. Mm-hmm. So, and a very easy plot. What about you?
You took the words out of my mouth. The only difference is I would give it a 5.5 out of 6.
That's about where I thought you would put it. I didn't think we were going to be far off from each other point differential wise.
Yeah, it's just there. It exists. The only thing that like makes this movie I feel like the only reason I thought that we should watch this movie is because I saw Mark Wahlberg and I was like, yeah, why not? But if it didn't have him as the main person of this movie, we probably never would have watched this movie, and it would have just swept by without anyone ever talking about it.
Pretty much, which maybe is what it deserved, but I mean, it's still entertaining enough.
Okay, so let us act like a salad and move on. Just kidding. I don't know where I'm going with any of this.
Make like a salad and move on?
No, I don't know.
Like, you know what you could have done?
Lettuce leaf.
No.
Salad. I was trying to make a joke about lettuces and salads, not about like
fair. But because you said go move along, you could have said let's make like an American Reject and move along.
All right, sure.
Hey, I make funnies occasionally. All right.
We all have our moments.
Speaking of
6
which,
Underground. This is your moment to talk about 6 Underground.
6 Underground came out December 13th, 2019. It was blatantly directed by Michael Bay.
Yes.
There has not been a Michael Bayer film than this one, and I will explain my thought process on that. With a budget of $150 million estimated. Mm-hmm. There's no box office return because it's a Netflix release, and it didn't really make it to the box office. It stars some interesting people. Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool. I mean, one.
He's playing a very seduced down Deadpool.
Yes, like this is Ryan Reynolds at the point where he realizes that he's gonna be typecast as Deadpool for the rest of his career, which is sad. We've reached the point of the Johnny Depp effect, as I'm gonna coin it, of you do one role in one way, and then everyone expects you to do every other role you do that way. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it will be broken. But maybe in a shit film like Crimes of Grindelwald. So,
like, I would have loved to have seen Ryan Reynolds in Hobbs and Shaw as anything as Deadpool. Anything else but Deadpool. But we got Deadpool.
But at least he was energetic and enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be a dick to Ryan Reynolds because I fucking love him. He's comedically amazing. Mm-hmm. And also a genuinely good person from what I've seen of what he tries to do. And also, apparently, his gin is pretty good. And if he's interested in sending me an aviation bottle of, or a bottle of aviation gin, I'd love that.
I would share some gin and tonics with you.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. We've got Ben Hardy, Corey Hawkins, who... Corey Hawkins, I think, is a really good actor. You know, he's not like the most recognized actor, I think, but he's one of those ones that when you see him, you're like, oh hey, I remember you. Films that we've done with him was Kong Skull Island. I think that's the only one we've done with him.
We haven't seen it, but he was in Iron Man 3.
Well, I mean, we've seen it, but we haven't reviewed it.
Yeah.
And he was also in 24 Legacy. And so, like, this movie has, like, some good actors in it. We got, like, Ben Hardy in it, who was in X-Men, Apocalypse, Bohemian Rhapsody. And it's an interesting cast. There's no one that I could say, well, not yet, anyways, that I could say is our Marvel connection, except maybe Ryan Reynolds. But he's not officially in the MCU yet, so I can't say it yet. This is me saying it for the future. Our MCU connection in about 5 years from now. We'll see how well that ages.
But we have Corey Hawkins, who was soldier Navy op in Iron Man 3.
Yes, but there's a difference, all right? There's a difference if named characters in the MCU, motherfucker. You know how we do this shit. But yeah, this movie. What can I say about this movie? Also, Dave Franco's in it.
Yeah. The way you brought him up is all the information we need. Oh,
That's
yeah, by
fair.
the way, Dave Franco's in it. All right.
Moving on. Much like this movie. Man. So how I would describe this movie. If Michael Bay allowed Transformers to fuck the Bad Boys franchise, that baby fucked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, and then it had some severe, grotesque intercourse with Michael Bay, and then got rid of all the aliens and weird mutants and shit like that, that's this movie. Because this movie is nothing but metal sparking on metal, explosions,
slow motion,
gratuitously, like, over-sexualized scenes. Like, there's sexualized scenes, and then there's Michael Bay sexualized scenes.
And then there's also the Michael Bay gore, and the gratuitous amount of, like, CG crumbles, and, like...
and one ridiculously cool action scene. Towards the end.
Okay. Like...
With the Jesse Pinkman.
Okay.
That's how I'll reference that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spoil it in spoilers.
You're not wrong. You really aren't wrong. What I put on here, the two things... Basically, what I put on here as my overall review of this is Michael Bay. Michael Bay made a music video and then stretched it out for 2 hours. So that's legitimately how it felt watching it. It's just like, look at this.
This soundtrack sucked. I mean, it has some good songs like Run, but it sucked.
I also agree. Like, there's nothing. At least with Spenser Confidential, I can name the songs, and I enjoyed those songs. It was just weird to hear them in the context of the movie, But with this one, there's nothing memorable about the songs at all. The editing itself is Michael Bay, and there's explosions, and there's metal sparks, and there's lots of cuts between weird slow motion bits and things. There's one cool fight. I thought it was interesting that a lot of the character development was just exposed upon us through conversation. And
question: did I miss it, or how did he meet Five?
Which one was Five again?
The Doctor.
I don't think it was explained.
Why?
Do you really want to add another 15-20 minutes to this 2 hour and 8 minute
Yes.
Yes, I get you. Yes.
Or edit something around because everyone else gets one.
At least for a little bit.
Like I got done with the I watched this in bits because of work.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
I remember
3
seeing up to
having his
4.
Intro.
3 had the shooting of that one guy at the pool.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, I also don't know.
I remember
how they met
seeing
6.
everyone's except for him, or her, and 6's.
So, like, my big problem too is, I wrote down, the markers in time for this movie when things happened. It was the first 2 minutes were explaining what a ghost was, which a ghost is, I guess, their little group. The 6 of them is the Ghost Squadrons or whatever they call themselves. That's not really a spoiler. Then there is 25 minutes in, and we hit like this year, like the year that the movie was taking place, but it was like 4 months in the past. And then it wasn't until 45 minutes in where Ryan Reynolds himself says, "All right, you're all caught up. Now let's get on with the actual movie."
Was it really that far in?
Yes, it was 45 minutes in when he's like, "Okay, now let's start talking about the heist that we're doing now," or whatever the heck we would call this, technically.
See, that works if it's like Harley Quinn narrating.
Mm-hmm.
Not
or Deadpool.
Not the normal billionaire guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the fuck is this movie, man?
Like, and then additionally, the things that got me were the comic book intros to, like, the comic book poppy intros to each of the characters as we got to meet them. There was the excessive use of slow motion and sparks.
God, the sparks are gratuitous.
Mm-hmm. Especially, like, the one scene that really caught my attention was the over-the-top scene when we got to see the car and the semi-trucks scrape by each other. And it's like they're not even touching, but we got to see this wall of sparks between the two cars. And it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, no, it's like, if metal even, like, gets, like, this close to metal, there were sparks. Like, it was so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot. I didn't understand the plot until, like, probably an hour well in, because they don't explain anything until probably we say we're all caught up.
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes is when they say we're all caught up with everything that's gone in the past and what led us to our situation. Then it's about 10 to 15 minutes after that that's like, okay, this is what's actually going on in this movie. So that seems, yeah, that's about an hour in. And then, for me, I was trying to figure out what was the point of this movie. Was it supposed to be Michael Bay wanting to be a Michael Bay? Or, like, is there a moral to the story? Like, Fast and Furious, the moral of their story is family. And, of course, they're ridiculous while they're doing it, but it's just trying to be that we're
It's far more entertaining than this one was.
So what's the point of this movie? Is it to be a family with your murderers friends? Is it, I don't know. And
Also, I did not enjoy the dynamic between 2 and 3.
I didn't either. I don't know how it made sense. It just kind of was there.
Man, this movie is very Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm. Like, one of the notes I wrote down when I was from about this movie was, it's like Mission Impossible, but without the twist reveals. So,
Or a plot.
kinda, yeah.
Like, I remember because, like, I watched parts of this. Like, again, I broke this up into parts. I watched probably the first hour before work today. Watched the next half hour on my break. Watched the last half hour when I got home.
And then there's
Which actually broke the movie up very well. Because I think that's how the act structure was broken up.
They foreshadowed this movie with a scene in the middle of this movie. This technically has 5 acts, if you want to be very specific.
So I probably broke it up after, like, Act 3 into Act 4 and 5.
Something like that, yeah. Act 1, I think, is the first 25 minutes. Act 2 is getting to present time. Act 3 is the setup. Act 4, in between 3 and 4, I think is when we have the conversation about the plays at the play. So,
Which they're at Macbeth, right?
yes.
You know,
Careful
if
now.
they...
Now you have to run 3 times around your house counterclockwise, or else you'll be cursed. And can't put any Shakespeare plays on ever again.
Macbeth.
Ah! And then the internet shuts down. And
Oh, shit. I'd believe it, sort of thing. Well, I remember being in high school, and I asked what the whole deal about saying that was.
Did they ever explain it?
No, but they christened me for saying the word.
I was told that it was any actor who has ever played in a big on-screen production of Macbeth has died. Like, some dramatic death. Be it...
Well, I mean, Corey Hawkins, funny enough, is set to be in Macbeth, which is filming. He's playing Macduff.
Well, he's gonna die miserably in the future.
Well, he's not playing Macbeth. Denzel Washington is...
Well, he's just signed his Final Destination contract.
Don't you fucking dare. Also, Brendan Gleeson's gonna be in that, and we just watched a movie with him in it. He was in 28 Days. Weird. Small world.
Okay, so back onto this movie. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we get into spoilers?
Oh my god, can we talk about how, like... This movie's tough to follow.
No, I agree. Overall, like I said, I don't know what the moral of the movie is. I don't really understand what the whole point is. Like, I almost feel like this is like Michael Bay being like, all right, I'm going to make the most Michael Bay movie I can. Kind of like Martin Scorsese.
That's the only way to
The
put it.
Irishman.
Oh, no, that's actually a fantastic way to put it. Both Netflix originals. Jesus Christ, you just blew my mind with that, because that is exactly what this is.
It's like Scorsese was like, I want to go Scorsese as I can and make The Irishman. And Michael Bay is like, I'm going to go as Michael Bay as I can and make Six Underground. Spenser Confidential.
No, you're right, though. Like, this is 100% a, like, as to a T Michael Bay can get. Irishman was 100% to a T what Scorsese gets to.
Mm-hmm. So,
You might be honest, Lang. I think anytime they hire a director...
Is there a director that you want to just see the most?
No!
Let's get Waititi in here.
Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right on that one. Never mind. I can deal with the Waititi. That's... You know what? You're right.
What if we?
You're right on that one.
What if we had another Sam Raimi horror film?
Oh, okay, horror film, yes. Which apparently, like, I'm curious to see if he, pulls off helping on the Doctor Strange movie whenever that comes out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll be like that is honestly the superhero he should have done. Let's be real.
Sam Raimi.
That or Carnage.
I could see that.
Dude, a Sam Raimi Carnage movie?
There will be carnage. I don't know.
Don't bring that up.
You don't want Woody Harrelson?
No.
Okay. So
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's as Michael Bay as it gets. That's the only way to explain it. Like, there's other Michael Bay films. Then there's Six Underground, which takes being a Michael Bay film to the fucking max. Like, to a disgusting degree. And it's just... I remember just watching the first, the driving scene and seeing all the sparks. I'm like, holy shit, babe. Fucking relax.
I don't even know why we had the driving scene.
Neither do I!
Like, there was a driving scene for some reason, and it lasted about 10 minutes longer than I thought it should have.
That scene lasted forever.
Especially because we had those weird parkour moments, and that was part of the reason I put the Mission Impossible without a reveal twist. Because there was like, alright, we've got a plan, and we've got this plan, and we've got this plan. And Dev's hair is messing with them. And we've got this plan.
Fuck off! Don't bring it up.
That one stand that's going right here.
No matter what I do, something's gonna be wrong with it!
What about the one right in the middle here?
Just stop. Just stop bringing it up, dude. I haven't had a haircut in like 2 months.
And you're not gonna get one for a while longer. Sure, I'll take my food. Thank you.
What the fuck, man?
Today it's bacon wrapped barbecue chicken.
Fuck you. I'm probably gonna have like fish sticks or some shit.
Ooh. This is something new
Maybe.
my dad decided to try. So
Maybe pizza. Maybe a Totino's.
ooh, Totino's pizzas? That sounds great.
I can make those lasagna. Baiting my
Bacon.
my dinner choices.
Okay, so yeah,
while
let's
I'm on the
end this so
show.
you can actually eat. Want to throw me my popcorn kernels?
Yeah, here's your fucking popcorn kernels. What are you rating this bullshit?
This bullshit I am giving a 4.5.
Holy shit, I was typing in mine and it's a 4.5 as well. Wow. I was literally, because I usually type mine before you say yours or before I say mine, so I lock it in. I was typing in 4.5 as we talked. As you said, I think I'm going to put this in. I typed 4.5. I'm like, shit, he's right. That's what it is. It's a perfectly round, or a perfectly solid.
It's a solid 4.5.
4.5.
It exists. It's here. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's Michael. Kind of. It's not really Ryan Reynolds, but it's...
No, it's a very tired Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. That's how I put it. It's a sedated Ryan Reynolds. Like...
And let's...
He's just... It's... I think that's the saddest part. It's such a sedated acting from him. But I also think it's because he realizes who he's acting for.
Acting for
There's no direction.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, there's that one scene where they both pass each other. No, fuck you, fuck you. No, fuck... you, fuck you. Like...
The one scene that sticks to me is the chocolates bed scene.
What was that?
I don't know, it was there. He had to bring it up for some reason.
Also, there's no way. There's no way those would be staying there.
Such a super glued, man.
I'm sorry, but if I'm having sex with Ryan Reynolds, that bed's shaking.
Let it be known. It's in the books. Don't come knocking if the party vans are rocking.
I will still accept that aviation gin, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, to never bring that joke back up again.
I'll bring it up, though. Unless you give me gin, too, please.
See, then he's not going to give you gin, so you can keep bringing it up, but I can't bring it up then.
Alright, so let's move on to spoilers for this movie real fast.
Yeah, alright, we're here?
We're here. We're spoiling.
Not much to spoil, let's be real.
No,
it's more just for us to bitch about this movie. We should have a bitch alarm. Oh, I was going to make that a Dev's bitch alarm. Alright. Or rant incoming. Hold on. I can do that pretty quick. Rant incoming!
That's not dramatic.
I should have added some echo. How's that?
Does it have to be your old-timey air voice?
Rant.
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 I like that one better.
Rant incoming. Okay, alright. I think that was a good test. Rant incoming. Rant incoming.
Good enough for now.
Alright, I'll update it later. That's the first take. Wow, Michael Bay, you just keep being you. You just... dumb piece of shit. Just, what the fuck, man? I grew out of your movies before I was a teenager. The only movie I've enjoyed of yours to recent date have been the Bad Boy movies, because those are gems for being as bad as they are. And the first Transformers movie.
Not even
Which-
Bumblebee?
That's not him. Don't give him credit for that. That's not him. Don't do that. Don't do that. Mm-mm. And maybe a couple scenes from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, because you had Stephen Amell playing Casey in it, which was cool because you had the Arrow hanging out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But other than that, what the fuck? What do you think? What happens in your brain, Michael Bay? Like, when you see a woman, do you just zoom in and just
Enhance.
on her ass?
Sparks and explosions.
Is that all that your brain is? I'm dead serious. I would love to just sit shotgun in your brain for a day and just see how you see the fucking world. Because my God, man, what the fuck? And I have been deadpanning this camera for a while for this.
Yes, you have.
Because I'm just bewildered by you at this point.
It'd only be better
Just
if you didn't blink.
I wish I could do that. Just, I'm not gonna look. Can you look up Battleship really quick? Did he direct Battleship too? I feel like he directed Battleship as well, just based on how these movies all feel. Because it's just like, at least it's got Bayism in it. That's how I'll put it. Because you are just such a you, Michael Bay. I'm just. If I never have to see a new movie of yours ever again, okay, just making sure. I think I'll be happy. Because somehow the quality of your movies have dropped since Transformers 2. I would put Transformers 2 and some of its dumb, racist jokes and fucking robot balls above this movie. Do you realize how fucking dumb that is?
It's okay, my dad.
And I would put it a-
Transformers too.
Your dad's a gem, though, so that's different. Your dad doesn't bring me food, but he brings you food almost every Critically Casual, and so that makes him a gem. Michael Bay, Michael, you just keep being you, you fucking weird piece of shit. God. And whoever these movies are being made for, and if you are the person who enjoys these, can I take a ride in your brain too, just to kind of understand? Because I'm supposed to be the casual on this show, but there are movies that are too casual for me, and this is it.
You know,
All right, my rant's over.
I had to think about it recently. Like, you used to tell me that I'd have to calm down and relax my brain and just shut it all down so I can enjoy these movies. And I realized the only movie that I've been able to shut my brain down for was Cats. Because it was so...
Why was it Cats?
It was so outlandishly dumb that I could dumb down, you know? It was like, alright.
That nightmare-fueled movie does not deserve you that to be the movie you dumb down to.
It's just
Mind you, I'm also, like, I am incapable of dumbing down to Michael Bay's level because, like, Michael Bay movies are under Fast and Furious dumbing down. And not to say that Fast and Furious you have to be dumb to watch, to enjoy. Because those movies are just silly, over-the-top fun.
Mhm.
And then there's Michael Bay's stupid dumb. Like, blatant sexism. I'm just gonna cuss every other line when I have the opportunity to just gore for gore's sake. It's so dumb. The only cool scene in this movie was the fucking magnets, bitch.
Which, that, I'll be honest, was pretty cool. But
That was awesome.
I thought it was a little ridiculous because every time they hit the button, they had to show 6 or 7 different angles of things flying to the other side of the room.
It could have been edited better.
Yes.
But that would be a thing that we could say for the entire movie, so thus it's null and void for the scene. But the magnets were fucking cool.
I guess I'll agree with you. Okay. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else in this movie that I didn't really enjoy?
Yeah, do share your thoughts, because I seem to have went off on a small tangent there.
It was weird, because in the beginning of this movie, I was actually kind of shocked, because a lot of it looked like it was practical filming, which I'm not sure if it is or not anymore, because I know at the end of this movie, it was all CG, all digital.
Oh, yeah.
Every crash, everything was digital. But, like, in the beginning of the movie, I was actually kind of praising it, because I was like, well, it looks really actually practical. And then
Yeah, I wonder if they really got Dave Franco to drive that car.
I think some of it, yes. And I think some of the flips and the vehicles happening behind him were practical, yes. And I think that was probably the first scene in the movie they filmed. And then after that, they used that as their inspiration for every other scene afterwards in the digital effects. You can tell. And yes, I agree with you. It is very much just all Michael Bay all the time. To the point where I don't know what I'm watching. Where it's just, I literally said, this is a music video or a Mission Impossible movie without the interesting twists and reveals. It's just such a mediocre movie, and I was so confused. Like, I can't.
No, I'm gonna skim the trailer really quick.
Okay, like I can't say it's a terrible, terrible movie, but there has to be something that we're missing.
Oh no, it's by far not the worst movie we've watched.
No, but like.
But it's a Michael Bay movie. It's pissed me off so much, I've allowed my hair to end up like this now.
Yes. But I feel like there's something in this movie that we're missing. We have to be missing something in this somewhere. Because it just can't be this simple of a non-existent story for all the effort that's put into it. There's so much effort in making this movie such a stylized film that I feel like there should be more to it, and there just really isn't.
Yeah, also, Dave Franco's not in the trailers.
No.
So I was genuinely like, oh, wow, he's in this movie. And no, I don't think this movie's made for anyone. It's made for Michael Bay. And what he believes people want to watch.
From Michael Bay for Michael Bay.
Pretty much. That's how Michael Bay's done his entire career. He does movies based off of what he thinks people will enjoy. Because it's what he enjoys. But he's not people. He's Michael Bay. And he's weird. No, can we talk about the Dave Franco thing?
Which part?
Why have him in this movie?
We had to establish a family loss and a reason for change, would be my guess.
But
my other point is that what's the change? They went back for the fucking potty. Also, why not do all of their intro backstories during the same scenes they're introduced?
I'm sorry, it's going to take from Suicide Squad, which is not our favorite film by any means.
Yeah, that was one thing that bugged me a lot, was the jumping from the past to the present, even when we're supposed to be in modern times, learning about what's going on. And the fact that it wasn't really linear in the storytelling either. It was just...
No, dude, it bothers me on a lot of levels.
This movie just... want to give it a lower score, but it's fine. It's fine enough.
I am fine with doing it, but that's your decision.
Nah, it's fine where it's at. I can't... It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to second guess my initial thought. That's how you fail quizzes, is second guessing yourself. For anyone still in school.
Yeah, no, I don't get this movie. I don't get it. It's got some good special effects.
One interesting fight.
And a cool car chase that lasts just a little too long than it was welcome.
The main character could be better. He's the best part of this movie, and he's not even at his best.
No, he's not. It's just kind of sad. And the rest of the cast, I don't blame them. No one in this movie's bringing their A game, but I don't blame him. It's a Michael Bay film. You don't bring your A game for a Michael Bay film.
Who do you think is if our main character is Ryan Reynolds, who is our main supporting role? Like, who's our second character?
Corey Hawkins. 7.
I agree.
But he's introduced an hour into the movie. He can't be the supporting character though, because if he's your supporting character, he's supposed to be introduced early, isn't he? Oh my god!
But no, but the storytelling is 7 is the best one, the best candidate.
Oh, I hate Michael Bay.
The only other one that I could see being like supporting role would be 3, but at the same time, 3 goes through his own story and his own little adventure, and doesn't really.
But no one changes. They're all the same at the end of this movie.
Ryan Reynolds changes. He changes his rules. Couldn't even find the fuck you button, could you?
I wasn't going for the fuck you button.
Alright, so I got nothing else to talk about for this movie, unless you do.
Nope. I am all out of juice on this one.
Alright. It exists. It's a movie. It happened. You can watch it if you want. It's Michael Bay.
Yep.
That's it. That's our end summary. Alright, we're going on to news. News and wrap up and stuff. So, this week's news isn't too much different than last week's news.
In that there's not a ton of news.
Yeah. The world's slow.
While being a ton of news.
Yeah, the world's kind of just slow to a crawl. All makes sense. It's a good thing. I mean, it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. So, that being said,
we're gonna get checks. At least we got that going for us.
that's true. That'd be nice. But that being said, Dev had saw something about a rumor possibly about Black Widow being released digitally, but I couldn't find a confirmation article on that. So that one's just kind of there. That's a little bit of news.
Murmurings.
Mm-hmm. Other rapid fire news would be like Spike Lee apparently posted the Jackie Robin script online. So if anyone wants to read that, you can. It's Jackie Robinson is a dream movie script of his that he kind of feels like he wants to make, but just hasn't made yet. By the way, so there's that. Additionally, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has said that filming for Hobbs and Shaw 2 has begun, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last for, being the times that we're in.
Hey, maybe it will come out before 10. Maybe they will make it to 10 now. And it all comes together. We get the big bad guy who, honestly, you wanna know who I thought it was originally? It would have been the big bad guy, but now because we did our trailer reaction, we know it's not. I thought maybe it would have been Han. But actually, no, that doesn't work because the person would have been behind Shaw. Probably. Alright, and you know what? Never mind. Doesn't work. Scratch that. It's not Han.
I read an article here that's... I don't know how I feel about this one. Cinemark cuts employee wages temporarily. So... yeah, I guess... It says here
because the billionaires need their money.
It says here that the CEO and the board of directors are voluntarily going without their entire salary during the closure of their business but at the same time they're also cutting wages for everybody else by 50%. So
well, maybe Cinemark doesn't make as much as we think.
I don't know. Movies don't make much money anymore, sadly.
Also, I filled up the shelf. That's right. That's the thing I can show off. I filled it up.
Oh, well, your Funko Pops.
So I got the Funkos, gaming, Hellcats, Magic.
Nice.
I just realized I filled it up. I haven't streamed in a little bit because of work, so I mean, I'll show that off. So I'll show it off here.
See, I don't see any other news here, sadly.
Yeah, it's slow. These podcasts might be a little shorter during these times, just because we don't have stuff to take real. There's not going to be a lot of deep movies that we can get fresh takes on. Because most of the movies that we can get fresh takes on are movies like these. And we're sorry.
So that being said, let's talk about next week.
Yes. I threw some ideas out there.
Yeah, we've thrown some ideas out there, and I
let him decide.
I decided that next week is going to be. I mean, you mentioned deep. Why not go Helm's Deep? No.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. We'll get there eventually. But we're gonna start with the Lord of the Rings. We're gonna do.
Woo!
The way I want to do it, and the way it's up to you as well, is I want to do each individual director's cut edition, so the 4-hour long versions.
The extended edition.
Mm-hmm. Each one of them with their own movie. It has their own podcast.
Yes.
So, next
that's the only way we could do the extended editions.
Yes.
Let's be real.
So next week.
There's too much to unpack.
So yeah, next week will be Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring for the extended edition, specifically the extended edition, mind you. So, and that one will have an episode on its own, and then the tentative schedule after that. I'm thinking I liked all of your ideas, and we might as well do them while we can. So, Lord of the Rings first next week. I'm thinking we'll do Pirates. We'll start Pirates of the Caribbean after that. Then we'll do Harry Potter after that. And then I want to do one of the Fast and Furious movies next month. So, not two, but one, and then we'll throw it in with something else.
I just don't know what, because I feel like my biggest, we'll discuss this later. My biggest problem with doing stuff with them is just there aren't a lot of car movies that work. There's not a lot of movies that start working with when we go forward. I'm just gonna say that.
Sadly, I know. We'll just have to find other ridiculous action films.
No, because that ends up where we were today, and I don't know if I can deal with that, Steven.
You don't want one Fast and Furious movie and then one ridiculous action movie?
And we'll discuss this later.
Yeah, so next week, we're going to go deep dive into the world of Tolkien and watch Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring. Otherwise, I got nothing else for this week. You got anything else?
Nope. I am
Hungry?
Very. I haven't eaten yet, but I've been drinking, so.
That's good. I'm enjoying my bacon-wrapped chicken. It's great. So, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Hit the like button and stuff if you saw it on YouTube, and subscribe. Join us on Discord. Follow us on Twitter. We got all the shows, which we'll probably be having more shows again here sometime fairly soon. We'll talk about
soon,
it
hopefully,
later, and we'll let you guys know. So, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. But until then, bye.